Happy Fragrant Friday, Fraghead. Hey everybody, this is Ben here at That Cologne Guy, coming at you with a new review. Happy Friday to you. Happy Fragrant Friday to you. My name is Ben. This is That Cologne Guy, the channel that welcomes you to your weekend and offers you brand new content every single Friday. Indeed. I hope you have a great weekend. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for watching this episode. If you like the content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It always helps to comment. A couple things this week I'd like you to comment on. If nothing else besides this fragrance, always let me know your scent of the day. And number two, let me know what your most daring fragrance is. I might even do my own episode on that one, actually. Think of a fragrance in your collection that is very daring. You totally concede it's not for everybody, that you just happen to like it. You've seen the content, you've seen the title and the description, and so you know that this is Amouage Opus XIII. And if you look over here, you'll see a number, and that is because this year, my friends, 2025 is, oh yeah, the year of the goo. Dr. Goo over at Locked Scents sent me a huge packet full of samples, and I'm finally getting to review all of these. You know what? It's number 7, but you can see I just went ahead and picked it at random. I'm not going to go in the order in which he labeled them. I'm going to be a rebel like that and do it completely at random. Not only that, but I've really been wanting to test out and sample some of the library collection from Amouage. As you know, I have reviewed 1 through 10, and you can check out those. In fact, I'll put it in a card in your upper right. Make sure you check those out. And this is 13. You know, you can see the X and then the the III rather. And that, of course, is Roman numerals. The X is 10. And then you have 3 I's, which means 3. So that's 13. This is Opus 13. And they actually have names now. If I'm not mistaken, after the 10th one, they started to give names. And this one is called Silver Oud. A couple of things I've got my trusty notes to my left here. I am looking at those. You guys know that I don't have a script, and proud of it. Silver Oud, this is a 2021 release, and that will be pertinent in a little bit. It is an Oriental Woody, and I think this is the first time that I'm reviewing a fragrance by the Parfumé Cécile Zerocchien, and I will try to include that in post when I edit. Cécile Zerocchien, and I'll get to the notes in a second, but I really want to talk a little bit about this guy here when it comes to the library collection and where Amouage is as a house. You guys know that I have to concede after all these years. You know, I like Mancera, I like Montal, I like a lot of the Arabic fragrances. Latafa, just a lot of the fragrances that I have sampled in recent months from the United Arab Emirates and in the Arab world in general, including Oman. And that is, I have to say, though, that after all these years, I still would have to say Amouage is my favorite. They were easily my favorite when I began reviewing, and it has slipped and just barely holding on to the one spot. And, you know, it's kind of things like this that make me hold on and say that I am #Amouage boy, because I really do like the fact that this one is, if I had to give you one word, I would say brash. For those of you who have smelled this, you can chime in. Wow. Another word would be unforgettable. You don't have to like this thing, but you won't forget it. It's a lot like Figment Man. Here's what I think happened. I think that Amouage, this is kind of a one-fingered salute, if you get my point, or a two-fingered salute in the United Kingdom, or I guess the British Isles. Bren, you can let me know in Ireland if it's a one-fingered salute like the U.S. or a two-fingered salute like it is in the United Kingdom. I don't know, so let me know. But either way, this is pretty much a one-fingered salute from Amouage to everyone saying that they were now mainstream, because this one is definitely not mainstream. Anytime that you have fecal matter and it smells like poo, you're not really going to be accused of selling out and going mainstream. So to me, the fact that this is a 2021 release really matters, because this is right when a lot of us were thinking, okay, I think these guys are going to go way too mainstream. And I like this release for many, many reasons. And one is it really is a reaction against the accusation that they went mainstream, because this one is definitely niche, brash, very, very specific, bold, unforgettable, and the list goes on. Let's take a look at the notes. This one, I'm actually going to combine for you the notes. I'm going to let you know the ones that I picked out, but I am going to add a couple more that they listed. I don't usually do that, but I wanted to let you know for a couple of reasons. Number one, on the top notes, you're going to get cypriol oil. If you guys have ever smelled that, it's another one that really, really divides people. I don't mind it, but it is kind of medicinal. It has a very strong, pungent smell. And then, of course, this has a blast of patchouli. If you don't like patchouli, you won't like this guy whatsoever. And then I didn't necessarily pick up a lot of cedar. I would call it woodsy notes in general, but they did list cedar specifically. Now, in the mid, usually, in my recent reviews, I've talked about how oud is not the main player. It kind of is here, but I've also said, it's kind of more of a medicinal oud in other ones, other reviews, episodes. In this one, though, this one is the dirty, dank, fecal oud that a lot of people don't like. This one, I just want to be very, very clear about that, right? There's the kind of sweet smelling, there's the medicinal smelling, and then there's the full-on just dank, animalic, fecal poo oud. And this one is that. So you can't get any more clear than that. And then it's got some vanilla, and I say that because I didn't necessarily pick up the vanilla, to be quite honest with you. It's got castoreum, so that's going to be in the animalic note. Some people call it roadkill. I don't know. I'll talk about that in just a second. It does have birch. And I'm a huge fan of birch, and it also has guaiac wood, which I absolutely adore. And then it's called ambrarome. Ambrarome, ambrarome, and I circled that, and I mentioned it because, as I said, I usually only mention the ones that I can pick up. I did circle that one, though, because I think this is the first fragrance that has that note, and it is a new note for me. So I can't speak to it. I could look it up, I guess. Maybe for a bonus feature I will if I have time, but I really don't know much about that note. I think this is the first time I'm coming across it. Okay? And so you guys want me to talk more about what it smells like. So here's what's going on here. You really get a ton of patchouli. You get a ton of birch tar, and then you get some oud. And so here's what happens. I wrote down some, it's woody and smoky, right? But the main thing for me is this one is fecal oud. So this is the poo. This is where this comes in. Burnt rubber and charred wood. So I'll say it again. Fecal oud, burnt rubber, and charred wood. So what it smells like would be something like this. Imagine you had a campfire, marshmallows, the whole 9 yard, hot dogs, whatever. And then after that, for some odd reason, you decided to burn a rubber tire. Okay, stay with me on this one. Stay with me. Then after the fire is out, you have this piece of charred wood that has burnt rubber on it, and you set it inside. You set it inside a horse stable. As random as that is, that really is what's going on here. Wow! This one is just very, very bold. I love the release, to be honest with you. This one kind of ranks up there with Figment Man by Amouage for me, in the sense that, remember, Figment Man is the wet soil one. A lot of you guys really like Figment Man. I just appreciate the fact that, again, like it or not, everyone remembers wearing Figment Man. You don't forget it. And so this one here is exactly the same. I love Opus 13 on many levels. And it's complicated, right? Because I have to tell you, I have I've mentioned this before, but I had a fragrance that was an aftershave called Lalique Equus. So if you know the Laliques, they always have the animal embossed in the back of the bottle. And so when you look at it, it has like a lion on it. The like Lalique Pour Homme has a lion. This one was Equus, so it has a horse in the back. And I detested that thing, right? I mean, it was a gerbil cage. It was the very definition of gerbil cage / horse stable. I paid for it, right? So I was like, I probably could have traded, but it was aftershave. It wasn't fragrance. It wasn't an atomizer. It was a splash on. So I kept it and just little by little got rid of it, especially when I stayed around the house. And it ended up being, if I did a top 5 most complimented by women who I did not know, Lalique Equus would make that top 5. It was so funny because I got so many compliments on that fragrance, and I detested it because it was a horse stable / gerbil cage. In fact, that's the fragrance that I always say every year, every Friday the 13th, that Jason Voorhees would wear. It got a wild amount of compliments. The burnt rubber kind of smell, works. Think of Dior Fahrenheit. Think of other fragrances that have burnt rubber and charred wood and an animalic note. Excuse me. They really do get compliments from the ladies, actually. And so, hey, go with it. Anyway, on the Lalique Equus, I got tons and tons of compliments, and I almost feel like this guy is kind of like the niche version. Why do I say all that? I actually didn't care for it. Remember, I detested it, but somehow I like this one. I think that one to me was too much of like pepper meets like gerbil piss. I mean, it was just didn't work for me at all. That said, I feel like this one is mixed better. I feel like it has more wood in it. And I feel like it has more oud. The other one didn't have any oud at all. But make no mistake, my friends, this one is charred wood, burnt rubber, and this one is definitely fecal or poo oud. This is not for the meek, and it's not for the mild. Now, again, I said earlier, I think this house is just kind of reacting against the mainstream. It's daring, it's brash, it's bold, and as I said, I mean, it totally works for me. I really like it. Let's get down to the categories now. For longevity, projection, and sillage, this one is another one that is absolutely eternal. This one was a whopping 12 to 16 hours in longevity. You heard that right. This one would be so. In fact, today. It's super cold out. You would never know because it's actually sunny, but it's 13 below in real feel ends while I'm recording. And so tomorrow I have to do basically a double shift. We'll just call it like that. I have a very, very long day. I'm going to probably rock this one because I know even if I work 16 hours, this thing will be going strong. That's how strong it is. People might think that you have, dog poo on your shoes, that you stepped in something, but hey, it will be going strong for 16 hours. When it comes to projection, again, be very, very, very careful with this guy. I am going to wear it tomorrow to the office, but as far as a daily driver to the office, man, I don't know how this could be pulled off. You'd have to be very, very careful indeed. Same thing with sillage. You get the point. Coming in out of rooms, the scent trail that you will leave will be quite animalic. Don't be surprised if you get people asking you, seriously, if you have, if you walk to work, I bet a lot of people will ask you if you stepped in dog poo on your way there. It sounds horrific. I don't know why it works for me. I actually really like wearing this one. Anyway, I wanted to go over those categories. And when it comes to age, this one also is not for young boys. This is not for the middle schoolers, high schoolers, and college students. And quite frankly, guys in their 20s are probably not going to be rocking this one. This one is a distinguished gentleman. This one definitely is for a man who knows what he wants, where he's going, and quite frankly really doesn't care about anybody else or what they think. And I like the brash nature of this one a lot. And so I'm going to go as far as age. I'm going to go 35 and up. It's not an old man's fragrance at all, but this one is definitely a man. This one separates the men from the boys. This one is definitely a men's fragrance, a distinguished man at that indeed. Men and women, I'm going to go a whopping probably, an actual, people who bought this because it's their signature scent. They want this. They want it in their collection. I'm going to go 90-10. I'm going to say 90% will be guys and 10% will be the ladies. This would not be something that most women could pull off or frankly would want to pull off. But hey, again, here's the counter argument. If you're one of the 10% who loves this and wears this as a woman, here's what I would say to that. No wonder, because like I said, when I wore the gerbil piss / cage / horse stable fragrance, what was Equus by Lalique, I got a ton of compliments, all by the ladies. So, hey, that's just my take on it. This one is definitely a winner. Fall, and I would say probably deep, and this is like in the Norwegian woods of January. Okay, this is like in the woods at like 3 a.m. in Oslo, outside of Oslo, Norway. This is something you would wear while in black metal when those guys have corpse paint and then they're always like out in woods at like 3 o'clock in the morning and it looks like the Blair Witch Project. That's probably the fragrance that they're wearing during their photo shoot. It is actually. So that is the season, and then the time would definitely be nighttime would be most associated, not day. Says a guy who's going to wear it to the office tomorrow, but it would be associated more for the night. Okay, so when it comes to event, I think we need to be careful here because this one is not a daily driver. This one is definitely something that you could not wear to any event. It'd have to be something specific, or the one exception would be if it just really, really blends well with your personality. Okay, so let's get down to the rating, shall we? This one actually was tough for me because, as I said earlier, this one is definitely a break from the house in the sense that they had been going mainstream, quote unquote, going mainstream, and this is definitely a break from that. It is brash and it is bold. It's a bold release, and I like that. And so I know a lot of people don't like this one. Number one, I do. It just works for me. And number two, I want to tip my cap to them for putting out something that has some Amouage DNA all over it, plus the dank animalic brash element on top of it. So this is my first one, as I said, by Cécile Zahokian, and she did a fantastic job. I think it's certainly brave, and it's definitely unforgettable. So hey, you got to give it to her in that sense, even if you don't like it. Now, it's not blind buy friendly, but then again, you guys know that a niche fragrance never is. I mean, I wouldn't recommend buying a $300 whatever, retail this stuff goes for, $280, $300, I don't know. I wouldn't recommend anyone blind buying niche fragrances to begin with. That's why I do these little samples. Thanks to Dr. Gu over at Locked Scents. And so be careful with that, because you would definitely want to sample this one. It's not for everyone. And so I felt like I shouldn't give it a 5 out of 5, even though I like it a lot. And I want to tip my cap and pay homage to its bravery and originality and its boldness. So I split the difference. Instead of going 3 to 5, because it is rather restricted in its use, or 5 out of 5, calling it a full-on masterpiece or future masterpiece, I'm going to split the difference and give this a 4 out of 5. I'm going to dock one spray on this one, because I feel like I am paying homage with giving it a 4. I feel like I am paying homage to the fact that it is original. But I also want to note that or concede that I don't know that I could wear this every single day in t-shirts and flip-flops, and I also don't know that I could recommend this. Usually my 5s out of 5s are a way of saying, look, anyone should go out and get this, and you must get this one and have it in your collection. I can't say that for this one. I can't say that everyone needs to have this one. I just know that I like it. So, and I'm going to take off also a little bit because it should not be costing what it does. I mean, for a fragrance like this, when you can consider that you can get Lalique Equus for what? probably now anywhere from 25 to 50 bucks. It's not exactly the same, but I just mean if you like the animalic element to it, it's kind of tough to pay 300 or whatever the retail is for this fragrance for a full bottle. So I'm going to split the difference, go 4 out of 5, and I will go 1 on each side of the neck and 1 on each wrist for Opus XIII by Amouage. Man, with four sprays, I will be this thing will be smelling for days, and probably even after I wash it. Boom. Oh. Whew. Boom. Boom. Whoop. I'm gonna do that second one because I missed. It's like if you took Dior. It's like if you took Dior Fahrenheit with the burnt rubber smell, and you mixed it with Lalique Equus with the gerbil cage, gerbil piss, horse stable smell to it, and mixed those two and added some cedar in there, and then you're going to get charred wood, burnt rubber, and fecal oud. So hey, if you want to smell like poo, more power to you. And again, if that seems like a diss, I do. I like this one a lot. It makes me happy that they're kind of saying we're going to try our best, at least in the library collection, to go back to the salad days of Amouage and not be so mainstream. Mainstream, no one will accuse this thing of being that. I have really, really enjoyed reviewing an Amouage fragrance, a library collection fragrance, and specifically this guy here. I really look forward to your comments because I know that this is divisive in Fragcom. I know some of you will really love this one, just like Figment Man, right? Some of you guys will really like this one, and some of you will just say it's a head scratcher and say, how on God's green earth could you like something like this? That's what makes it all fun, right? Especially because, again, why would I not care for Lalique Equus, but I actually really, really like this one a lot. And that's why these things are fun, and that's why I always enjoy reviews, and that's why I always enjoy your comments. Take care, have a great week, and always remember, my friends, fragrance marks the celebration of today. Take care, everybody. Welcome to the bonus feature. I just couldn't resist. I had a little bit of extra time, and as a note, it is a powerful ambergris note. So don't forget, ambergris is ambergris, which is it's whale vomit, essentially. I mean, that's what it is. It is whale vomit. It doesn't sound nice, but it surfaces up, and then they scoop it up, and it is a very common note in fragrance. So this is a powerful ambergris note with warm, leathery scent and hints of pepper, tar, coffee, and light tobacco. One of the notes in this fragrance is a leathery element to it, and I think that's where this amber aroma is where the leather smell is coming from. I did find that it's also used to mimic amber and musk, so it has an animalic note, but it also has a leathery quality to it, and I bet it's the amber aroma. So again, that's a new note for me, and I just wanted to put it in the bonus feature. Take care.